What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, coming to you live this Wednesday night, February 23rd, 2022. And boy, do we have an intense one tonight. We're going to have some intense coverage tonight, and we are going to crack into all of it, boppers. So get settled down, whether it's a cocktail or some chamomile or something in between, because we are in for quite a ride. Before we get started, if I could just ask you guys to smash that like button before we get started. It's the number one thing you can do to help out a channel like this and ascend through those tricky YouTube algorithms and reach more people. So if you could just take a second to do that, appreciate it, guys. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steven Steele Live. I'm, of course, Steven Steele. It's great to have you with us tonight. We've got an awesome, eccentric, just super fun community here, and I would love to have you be a part of it. So if you're new here, be sure to press subscribe, hit all on that notification bell, and descend with us to the moon, Mars, and beyond. If you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast, it's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put into these shows. Without any further ado, let's see who's active so far on the stream tonight. We got 7-1. We got Kai Lynn, good to see you. Mr. Lynn. Keith Havens, of course. Me, you, what's going on? Jeremy Abbott. Hump Deezy. Scotty Suitcases, welcome back. Ivan, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Swift Lempinski, yes indeed. Erectile Reptile, good to have you in the mix. David, what's going on? Scott Herforth, of course. Who else do we got in here? RW, Pink Tuba. Good to see you, Pink Tuba. It's been a minute. Low Roller Scratcher, Andy Shirley, Miles Connor, and the list goes on. Great to have you all here tonight. So yeah, without any further ado, guys, why don't we just talk about what's going on with the market first and foremost. Right now we've got, let me pull up the charts right now, and I got a couple up here on my screen too. So right now, Bitcoin now trading, it just dipped below 35,000, guys. Bitcoin just dipped below 35,000, down almost 8% in 1 hour. Bitcoin now down almost 8% in 1 hour. Ethereum now trading just a bit above 2,300, down a whopping 10% just in the last 60 minutes. Dogecoin, of course, is down a whopping 12% over the last 60 minutes as well. Not the 60 minutes. Please, I'd like to properly correct myself. I was looking at the 24-hour charts, so I don't want to alarm you guys that severely. So all the stats that I gave you just a moment ago. Those are the 24 hours. Those are the 24 hours starts before the 24-hour charts before you guys. A few of you have to change your shorts. So we are seeing some of these losses start to stabilize over just the last 15 minutes here. And we are starting to see some trading sideways action, which is obviously good. Now, I do think that what is happening in the market here is directly related to the conflict taking place as we speak right now between Russia and the Ukraine. For those of you who haven't heard yet, it has been confirmed that Russia has launched special forces attacks that appear to be very, very significant on the Ukraine. Now we're getting reports just coming through just before I went on the air that Russia appears to be trying to seize control of Kyiv, and that is the capital of the Ukraine. And in my opinion, Russia wouldn't be trying to seize control of the capital unless they were trying to take over the entire nation. I mean, I don't know else to make of it. I'm still learning as news comes in, so I'm just trying to cover this as best as I can. But this is obviously having a direct, profound impact on not only the crypto markets, but the stock markets as well. So, you know, it's important when you go through something like this. It's important to keep things in context. It's important to look at what the markets are doing in totality, not just Dogecoin, not just Bitcoin, but we are seeing an entire slaughterfest just across all the markets, not just cryptocurrency markets. So please try to keep that in mind as we navigate through this. Now, do I think this is going to last? I don't, but I don't think we're out of it yet. In fact, I'll just tell you what I'm planning on doing strategically and let you guys make of it what you will. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude with opinions. And so what I'm doing is I am going to be buying more dips, but I am not buying yet because I do think we are more than likely going to see even a more significant drop, particularly as we watch the markets open tomorrow morning. Now, it could very well be that the apex of these dips could happen tomorrow. Could happen tomorrow before things stabilize and start rising up again. If the Ukraine and Russia find themselves in battle, then a full-on war, I do think that the market will kind of get used to this new reality and reflect what's going on there. So I don't think that we're going to see total and complete chronic destabilization in the markets as a consequence of this conflict, no matter how long it goes on. But in the short term, certainly extremely, extremely significant. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Definitely some political comments going on, which is understandable. You know, it's really interesting because how should I put this? The legacy media spent many years painting a narrative that the previous administration was just the worst thing in the world. And, you know, people obviously have different opinions about that. But when you look at the significant changes and trajectories on multiple fronts that this nation has undergone in the last year and a half, the case that was made in that regard just seems, frankly, more questionable by the day. But what I will tell you guys is this. Right now, I don't think we have seen the lowest of the low in terms of where the crypto market is going. But I don't think it's going to last super long either. So again, what I am doing, I'm waiting to find that low because I don't think we've reached the low yet. And then I will be accumulating more as my budget allows. And part of me is really looking forward to that. Where there is fear, there is also opportunity. So that's another thing that goes through my mind as we navigate through this. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on. We got some a story that just came in from Benzinga. Bitcoin, the title of it is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin pull back again as Russia-Ukrainian crisis intensifies. Appetite for risk shrinks. And this is pretty typical. Whenever we see any major global conflicts happen, we do see a direct impact on the fear-greed index, of course, heavily skewed on the side of fear, because war is just a very intense, uncertain thing, right? And so when we do face global challenges that are intense and uncertain, it has a direct reflection, not only on the crypto market, but the stock market as well. We saw this exemplified, of course, through the pandemic that lasted quite a long time and is still going. But we did see some direct negative consequences from people's fear and uncertainty surrounding the pandemic. And now we are seeing it play out in terms of what's going on with the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. The good news is I don't think that this type of spiraling is going to keep up. I do think that there are enough people. I think when you look at how much more popular the crypto market is compared to where it was a year and a half ago, more people have come into cryptocurrency over the last year and a half than they have over the last 8 years. So when you consider that, I do think that there are enough enthusiastic investors to fill those gaps, to buy those dips, and exhaust the shorts, so to speak, and panic sellers. So that's kind of another thing that I'm keeping in mind as we move forward here. Now, Dogecoin dropping. Where is Dogecoin? Last time I looked, it was right around a little under 12 cents. Yep. Dogecoin now headed towards 11 cents. Just wild stuff. Now, Dogecoin down 15%, almost 15% over the last 24 hours. What did I tell you guys? I told you guys that we hadn't reached the low just a few moments ago, and here we are, not but 10 minutes later since the show started, and we are already seeing the market drop even lower since I first went live just 10 minutes ago. And that's another reason why, I mean, not to toot my own horn by any stretch of the imagination, but I will say this, those of you who watch this show frequently, this comes as kind of a surprise, but kind of not really. What did I tell you guys just last night on the show? I said we haven't reached the low yet. We have the worst is still yet to come, and I strongly felt that way over the course of the whole last couple of weeks, frankly. And I've been telling you guys this. So this shouldn't come as a complete shock and all to my regular viewers, but just keep those notifications on, guys. Just keep those notifications on, because you know me, I go to the mat on air night after night here, whether the market is rocketing or whether it's cratering out, whether the super chats are coming in bountifully or there's no super chats at all. I'm here for you guys. We're doing it together. Look, as I've many times stated in the past, these investments, particularly when the majority of our portfolio are invested in high utility projects with strong communities, and strong development, it is a long journey. Crypto is not a get-rich-quick scheme for the overwhelming majority of people. So that in mind, we are still looking at a trajectory that is incredibly volatile, but one that is still ascending, even where things are at right now, in an overall ascending pattern. I do think that these global conflicts that we are experiencing right now are going to be a big obstruction in the road. I still think that the market's going to drop lower as a consequence of this, but I don't think it's going to stay there. I do think that enough folks are going to be buying those dips to help stabilize and outpace the panic selling, but we're not there yet. In my opinion. Thank you for the Reddit. Thank you for the Reddit link there, Scott. Separatist leaders in Ukraine asked for Russian help on Wednesday. Well, Kiev began drafting its citizens for compulsory military service and announced a state of emergency, according to a report from Reuters. Investors stayed away from risk assets on Wednesday. S&P 500 index closed at 2% lower, while the NASDAQ ended 2.6% lower. Let's see, Bitcoin moved between 36,000 and 39,000, while Ethereum ranged between 25 and 27. Well, now those sound like pretty strong numbers comparatively, don't they, folks? Let's go to the next story here, guys. Actually, let's go to some live coverage. I have a few tabs open up right now that's showing live news coming in from the Ukrainian-Russian conflict as it's happening. So far, the U.S. Embassy, this just in Kiev, says it's aware of military engagements within Ukraine. The U.S. Embassy in the Ukrainian capital said in a Twitter post that it was aware of military engagements within Ukraine. We will continue to monitor and provide updates. State Department spokesman Ned Price said that the small group of U.S. diplomats who have remained in Ukraine were continuing to sleep in Poland and commuting to the Western Ukrainian city. And as it stands right now, as I understand, I believe the president is currently or just finished a phone call with the Ukrainian leader. What they're talking about, who knows? But those talks are probably still going on, if I had to guess right now. When you look at the size, scope, and budget and population of Russia versus Ukraine, there's really no comparison there. So it's not very difficult to surmise or speculate how a conflict like this would turn out. I'm still taking all of this in when it comes to any foreign conflicts and things of this nature, and our government's involvement or non-involvement in it. I always view it through a skeptical lens. So I don't even have my full opinion fully articulated, frankly, on this. I'm just taking the data as it's coming in. What I will say is this. There were some key opportunities for this current administration to tamper down the trajectory and an aggravation that spawned Russia to attack, and those opportunities were not taken. I'm not saying that justifies what's happening right now by any stretch of the imagination. I want to make that very, very clear. But at the same time, it's hard. It's hard for me to not think about the military-industrial complex and the history of no-bid contracts that we have in regards to that, and how lucrative of a business that the importation and manufacturing of weaponry is, whether it's being made for our military or militaries and conflicts overseas. So I do think to some degree that is motivation towards what's been cultivating here. Another thing I can't help but think of too. I'm just not going to go there. I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to keep those thoughts to myself for now. But let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Alan says Russia is going further in. Those are all the reports I'm seeing as well right now, guys. As well. It's interesting. I also can't help but think of, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Wag the Dog. I think that's kind of a pretty appropriate scenario for what we are potentially seeing here. So if you haven't seen Wag the Dog, I think now's a good time to watch Wag the Dog. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now we have reports Russia further making its way all throughout different sectors of the Ukraine right now, as we watch the market absolutely bottom out in response to what's going on here. The fear index is at a pretty intense high right now. Truckin' All Day says, on my TV, I have live stream in Kiev Plaza. A few minutes ago, you can hear the air raid horn. Didn't see anything fly in. The air raid horn isn't going on. Reporters asked Biden how he is going to handle Ukraine. He started blank face picking his teeth. I don't know. I have no comment. The Upcoin account says, let's hope for peace or it'd be very bad. I understand that. I always skew on the side of peace myself. I'm all about spreading peace and prosperity, not war and war profiteering. It's also interesting too. It's just interesting. All I will say, guys, it's very easy for everyone and understandable. I will say that it's very understandable for people to develop a number of opinions and narratives, particularly at this early on, of what's going on with this conflict, and I don't fault anyone for that. I would just submit to view it all with a very skeptical lens, because almost always, and the body of history shows us that the origin of these conflicts always ends up turning out to be much more complex and much different than the narrative we are typically told that these conflicts are about. So I'm old enough to have remembered that first Bush administration for the inception of the Iraq War, and so I have some interesting points of reference that have caused me to view all of these major world conflicts with through a very skeptical lens. I'll put it that way. So now Dogecoin down to 11 cents. You're absolutely right, Bang Stun. Let's see what we're going on here. We got Dogecoin now down 16% in one day, trading evenly at 11 cents, folks. At 11 cents, Bitcoin now dropping to 34,500, 9% down. Ethereum dropping even harder, almost trading at an even 2,300. You know who's faring well comparatively to the rest of the market right now in terms of the top 20 cryptos is Lunaterra. Lunaterra is definitely down, but guess what? Lunaterra, get this, check this out, folks. And for those of you who know me, know that I'm very bullish on Lunaterra. Lunaterra is only down 2.6% for the day, which is absolutely wild. How well Lunaterra is hanging in there. Right now, Lunaterra trading right at about $55, down about a percentage and a half over the last hour and only 2.6% over the last 24-hour cycle. To me, this is just incredible and a real testimony to to the stubbornness of its holders. Right? I mean, that's. You gotta give it up for the Lunaterra holders. They are not operating on the fear end of the fear greed index, to put it mildly. Machiavellian says, "Hold, your drop in value isn't comparable to the list, life, and property of the Ukraine." Yeah, thank you guys for sharing your thoughts here. Firstly, I don't blame people if they have to panic sell, particularly if your financial situation isn't particularly that secure or strong. I don't fault anyone for doing that. I will say, when it comes to the most significant aspects of your portfolio, and I would think that the most people that watch this show, your most significant aspects of your portfolio are larger market cap, high utility coins, and then, like, I'm guessing most of you, like myself, reserve a smaller part of your portfolio for low market cap projects. It is a difficult game to play if you're trying to constantly buy, sell on those really large market cap projects. Now, you can do it successfully, but most people do not. Most people that do not do it successfully. So that is something you want to keep in mind if you're thinking about panic selling at all right now. Or panic selling a good chunk of those investments. If you can get burned. You can definitely, particularly if you're wanting to buy back in and try at a more advantageous time. You can do it, but most people aren't able to do it successfully. So, let's see what else is going on here, guys. Axios now reporting. Zelensky says Putin has ordered complete and total invasion that is spreading throughout the capital now more intensely. We have a lot of people now hiding out in basements, including a lot of reporters from around the globe right now. That's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. Let's see here. What else do we got? More live updates going on here, guys. Get this. This just came in like literally 5 seconds ago. Ukrainian-controlled part of Luhansk, I think that's how you pronounce it, announces total evacuation. The Ukrainian-controlled part of Luhansk, I'm butchering that. It's Luhansk, announced a general evacuation just now as Russia has been attacking. We recommend residents in the region leave the region immediately. Said on Facebook, the owners of vehicles should move in the direction of the Dnieper River on their own. An evacuation train is being organized for those who cannot leave independently, he added. So here we have it, guys, where huge swaths now of the Ukraine are now being advised to evacuate very decisively from those territories, from those regions, as Russian troops move in. This is very, very intense now. Luhansk is one of two separatist regions backed by Russia, along with. Okay, that makes things a little bit more understandable there. Both regions, known as Oblast in Ukraine, are split between controlled parts of Ukraine by pro-Moscow separatists. So that is intense. I would submit to you guys that the market is going to look pretty rough in the morning. I would also submit to you that tomorrow morning, specifically between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., around there, could be the most advantageous time for buying the dip. They very well could be that window. I'm not saying for sure, but I'm saying that's a pretty decent probability. That's a pretty decent probability. Alex, did Nick Balls sell? I don't know. I haven't talked to Nick in about a week, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sold some. But I know I'm pretty certain overall the overwhelming majority of Nick's Dogecoin is held long term. Yeah, I don't quite understand the spelling from the media on Kiev either, RW. I'm not quite sure what's up with that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of speculation here. I do appreciate the opinions here, and I think we've got a great community here where people can discuss different geopolitical opinions without getting nasty, and I appreciate that, you guys. Esteban says, Steven, I can't take these market drops any longer. Everything is hurting me financially. I don't want to sell my Dogecoins, but I'm afraid of getting margin called. Listen, Esteban, you have to do what's best for you, my friend. If you are feeling the heat in terms of a lot of financial duress, in other words, if your portfolio is causing you a lot of real life, everyday financial duress right now in your finances, selling off part of your portfolio may be the best decision for you right now. You shouldn't feel that way. For me, I do strongly adhere to the philosophy I don't invest what I can't afford to lose, and that is something you hear very often for a reason. I do think it's a very sound philosophy when it comes to market investments, and that's what I abide by. So of course I'm bummed. Of course I'm bummed out, but I can still pay the bills and keep things moving as far as the basics go, with or without a successful bullish portfolio. Trucking all day, coming in with the first super chat of the night. Appreciate that. Thanks for helping keep the lights on over here at Steele HQ Trucking. Is it true Vitalik went to Russia years ago to help the government buy ETH? I did hear something about that. I don't know the details of it, Trucking, but I do know, I can confirm that Vitalik did go to Russia years ago and was in talks with sectors of the government there. I imagine in relation to Ethereum, but I don't know any more details than that. Thank you, Trucking Day. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's one of these things too where we're just in a wild ride. I don't know how else to put it. Obviously, the market is severely crashing right now. But I will say this, guys. Before this latest conflict, we were already in a recovery. We were already starting to see signs of recovery, particularly as it relates to Dogecoin. Dogecoin was starting to make a fairly substantial recovery over the course of the last few days. Now, I did warn you guys last night that this was likely temporary. But what does that show us? It shows us more than likely in the absence of this Russian-Ukrainian conflict, we would still likely be in just a further stage of a full market recovery right now, rather than the opposite. And so, I think you should almost take some bit of solace in that, because to a degree, this is out of our hands. Also, when we see the fear index get significantly impacted, on the side of severe fear due to geopolitical conflicts or some sort of disparaging words about or FUD campaigns from political leaders. That always has its profound impact on the market in a negative way. But we do have enough body of history to show us that that's usually short-lived. That's usually a short-lived affair. $2 super chat coming in from the Zombie Doge Army. Thanks for being the real deal. Appreciate you so much, Zombie Doge Army. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the compliment, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Someone saying glory, glory, hallelujah. I think we got glory. So I've seen that person in the chat. I've seen her in the chat. Yeah, glory to glory to glory. Have a good night, everyone. Hold. Have a good night to you as well. Glory to glory to glory, and thanks for stopping in. It's good to see you. Okay, let's go to more live updates. There's more live updates coming in from the conflict going on right now. What's the latest we've got? We've got air raid sirens are going off at the capital as we speak. South Korean embassy in Kiev warns its citizens in Ukraine to be prepared for emergency evacuation. That's just coming down. Stock markets, now get this, guys. Stock markets plunge as Russia-Ukraine crisis escalates. Asian markets and U.S. stock futures are plunging as Ukrainian President Vladimir Putin announces a military operation in the Ukraine. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index declined 3.2%. Korea's dropped 2.7%. Japan's market 225 lost almost 3% after coming back from a holiday. China's Shanghai Composite has moved about a percentage lower. U.S. stocks are tumbling. Dows were down as much as 780 points, or 2.4%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq's futures were down 2.3% and 2.8%, respectively. And this kind of also just confirms what I told you guys earlier in the stream. And it's also something you might want to take solace in. What's happening right now, folks, this is not just something that's unique to the crypto market. It's not that just the crypto market is tanking because people have lost faith and they've lost hope for the future of digital currency. That has nothing to do with what's going on right now. It's not like we're looking at a negative paradigm shift away from cryptocurrency. That's not what's happening right now. I want to make that very clear. What's happening right now is a major world conflict is broken out, okay? And it's caused an extreme amount of uncertainty in the market, not just the crypto market. The stock markets across the globe are absolutely tumbling right now. Obviously, the Americas, no exception. And that has, obviously trickled down all across the crypto market. So again, I think you should take solace and a certain level of comfort in that because it's an important thing to understand. Now, contextually, this is a very important thing for you guys to understand right now. Okay, so this isn't just Dogecoin failing. Okay, this isn't just Bitcoin failing. This isn't just AVAX failing. Okay, Luna's not failing. Luna Terra is made of Luna Teflon. Luna is made of Teflon. That's what I was about to say. Luna Terra is almost made of Teflon. Nothing can mess with Luna Terra right now. Again, Luna Terra taking a very mild hit, only down 2.4% over the last 24 hours. Feeling very good about my Luna Terra investment right now. Ethereum now holding on a little bit above 2,300, you guys, but still down 3% over the last hour. Bitcoin now trading at 34,600, putting it at about a percentage and a half down over the last hour. So we are seeing the mega drop kind of soften now. So obviously that's a bit of something, right? A bit of something. But I will caution you that once the markets open up tomorrow, we could see even a more significant shift down. And that will likely directly affect the crypto markets as well. I personally am going to keep a very close eye on the markets. I'm going to set my alarm, no matter how crappy I'm feeling in the morning, because I've been a bit under the weather. I'm going to set my alarm and make sure I am up at the crack of dawn to keep an eye on these markets because I think that for the first few hours that the stock market's open, that we could see some incredibly advantageous dip buying opportunities there to the likes of that we haven't seen in years. So I am going to keep a very close eye on that for my own investment possibilities there. Let's see what's going on in the chat. My put stock options are going to explode. Yes, trucking all day. Russian stock market was suspended and opened this morning in Moscow, Scott said. I don't. That's not possible. RW. He was suspended, permanently suspended. All Luna holders are still asleep. Yeah, I mean, it's really incredible to see how well Lunaterra is performing in the middle of all this. It's baffling, frankly. It's baffling. There's a small chance the stock market doesn't even open tomorrow. So Scott, I'd say that's a long shot, Scott, but I wouldn't take it off of the table in terms of realms of possibility. I wouldn't. New York Times now reporting, guys. Also, I got their live updates open right now. 3 minutes ago, this just came in, guys. President Putin spoke with the president of Belarus by phone to discuss the situation in Ukraine. Belarus news agency reported the news came as the Ukrainian government said Russian troops had attacked from Belarus and Russia, attacking border checkpoints, artillery, heavy equipment, and small arms. Also, some breaking news that just came in regards to this conflict, you guys, is Ukrainian State Border Service reported that Russian troops stationed at Belarus, north of Ukraine, had launched an attack with support from the Belarusian military. I think that's the first time I've ever had to say the word Belarusian. Russia had deployed as many as 30,000 troops in Belarus for an exercise this month that the United States said could serve as a pretext to an invasion force that could threaten the capital of Kiev. The border between Belarus and Ukraine is sparsely protected. So those are the latest developments coming in on the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and the markets are certainly reflecting a lot of conflict and action happening over there. Again, I think tomorrow morning we'll likely have a scenario where we're going to see the markets drop even further from where they are now. I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on that for my own investment opportunities. I'm not saying that it can't go lower after that window, but I'm just looking at what I believe to be the most likely probable scenarios are in that regard. Alan says Joe Rogan needs to go to the Ukraine and Russia and have a podcast session with them. Hey guys, let's talk it out. 3 hours uninterrupted, right? No commercials. Why not? Diamond Hands Freddy said this is a time for buying. Too bad I'm such a pleb. Oh well, payday's coming tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I'm really not in a place where I have a ton of investment capital to play around with myself. But if I did, I would be spending it in the next few days, personally. Captain Jack says I'm off to bed. Night owl. Thanks for tuning in for a bit, Captain Jacks. We'll see you next time. Bo says no fear. Holding Doge, too much good news about to come for Doge. There is still an incredible amount of positive news and developments happening for Dogecoin that are in the works, guys. And I will say this, Dogecoin has probably the most engaged crypto community on the planet in terms of enthusiasm levels now, in terms of how enthusiasm levels go. And I think that really... it really does count for a lot in the crypto market. Joe Greenfield says looks like we're staying up all night, huh? We'll see how long I can last, guys. We'll see how long I can last. How low do you think Doge will go down, Alex C? You know what? I'm throwing all my previous predictions out the door when you're talking about a major world conflict. It kind of just like demolishes any analysis that you previously had. But in lieu of recent events, Alex, I wouldn't be surprised if Doge dropped all the way down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 cents. It could happen. It could happen. Again, I don't think it will stay there very long if it gets down to those levels. And I don't think that if Doge were to get down to 7 or 8 cents, this drop wouldn't be unique to Doge. Please keep that in mind, folks. It would only be as a consequence of Bitcoin going down significantly and the stock market going down significantly. I just want to make that very clear. Guys, if you're new to the channel, you're watching Steven Steele Live. I'm Steven Steele. It's great to have you with us. Please feel free to hit subscribe, hit all that notification bell. I do live streams at least a few times a week, usually between 4 and 5 streams a week. That's kind of what I've been averaging lately. And we've got an awesome community here. I'd love to have you be a part of it, so feel free to subscribe. Wild says, holding all my crypto. Why don't we do a survey, a poll in the chat? Let me make it right now. And I'm writing the question. And the question is, okay. All right. And I put the survey in the chat, you guys. You can answer it right now. The question is, are you holding all of your crypto? Are you holding all of your crypto? You can answer yes, you can answer no, or some yes and some no, meaning you're selling off portions of your portfolio, but not all of it. We will revisit that poll in about 15 to 20 minutes to see what the results are. It'll be interesting to check the climate of where you guys are at right now. And honestly, in my opinion, when you're going through a market crisis this magnitude, there are really no wrong answers. There are really no wrong answers. It just depends on what your personal financial situation is, guys. Scotty says he's holding it all. He's holding it all. Nate is holding it all. Sound God says, I wish I could buy more. You guys are some real ones. All right. Let's take a look and see what kind of updates we have right now. Just in, Ukrainians in Kiev are packed up their cars and are waiting in long lines to fill up for gas on the way out of the city. Mass evacuations are happening as we speak across the capital of Ukraine. Also, just came in, the Asian stock market has fallen even more significantly. Japan is Nikkei is down 225, was off over just 2.1% early afternoon. So even more significant drops in the Asian stock market. I'm refreshing another live page right now. Another Ukrainian city that I can't pronounce, it's Kharkiv. Kharkiv. Mayor of Kharkiv in Ukraine warned citizens not to leave their homes. The mayor of Kharkiv, second largest city in the Ukraine. So this is very significant news because this is the second largest city to Kiev. Has urged citizens to stay home as explosions and sounds of artillery are reported across the country. Please do not leave your homes today due to the complicated situation. Schools, kindergarten, and other institutions do not work today until the situation becomes clear, Mayor Igor Terekov said on a Facebook post just now. At the same time, public transport works as usual. I'll keep informed on what is happening to the actions of city authorities throughout the day. It's really just reading this stuff, guys. It's just very unfortunate to me that we are not evolved enough as a species where we can't work out our conflicts by other means except for bombing and killing people. I know it sounds perhaps overly simplified and cliche, but I feel like we should be further on the evolutionary scale than this. But again, it's my personal belief that the source of most major military conflicts in the globe is based on greed and lies and deceit. So I'm buying like crazy, man, until it hits the bottom. 7-9 cents will be the floor, Hunter Wayne said. I think that's a pretty reasonable statement, Hunter Wayne. Like I said, I think the lowest of the low for Dogecoin, I could see it getting into the neighborhood of 8 cents, 8 and 9 cents. But I do think that is the bottom for Doge. I'm not saying it's going to go there, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw numbers like that even as early as mid tomorrow morning here in the United States. Crypto will be used as a daily currency all around the world. B says, yeah, I agree. I think the most likely scenario over time for the future of cryptocurrency will be, I don't think it's going to replace fiat, replace national currencies, but I think it will work side by side with both credit cards and fiat as a kind of socially accepted, mass adopted checkout way. So, and I think we are going to see actual physical credit cards that you will be able to load your crypto up on and check out with those kind of crypto credit cards. I think that's where things are probably going. In fact, I have actually was chosen to beta test the Doge card. Those folks reached out to me. I have been beta testing it, the app anyway. They are supposed to send me a physical card that I'm getting in the mail any day now. I have to say, so far, the intuitivity and the ease of use on the Doge card app has been very good. So far so good. Yeah, I hear you, Alan. Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things. War is a really intense thing, man. I mean, it's something you truly can't understand the seriousness and gravity of until you're really in it. You know, it's easy for politicians and weapons contractors and the like to be able to shot call, you know, from their cozy, safe environments. But you know, when you actually have to be a part of it, the gravity of it takes on an entirely different perspective. Yeah, Truck on the Day, I'm reading that right now. I can't talk about anything too graphic on here due to terms of service, but that one surprised me. RW says, my Trust wallet was renamed Trust Me, Don't Look Wallet. Yeah. Trust Me, Don't Look Wallet. Yeah, my Trust wallet, that's a good name for mine as well. I don't even look. I don't even look. I kind of got caught up in the hype of before we saw any real bearish trends. I kind of was under a certain level of self-delusion where I thought I made decisions where overall that my lower market cap and my DeFi projects and things that I've invested in my Trust wallet more than likely would keep going up. And now, of course, hindsight's always 20/20. You got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, you got to know when to walk away. I wish I would have walked away of several of those lower market caps and when I had the chance. But again, this stuff it's kind of hard to predict. I mean, we did feel that these tensions were rising, but very few people expected the conflict to break out this severely and this swiftly in this short amount of time. Let's see what's going on in the chat. So, Mr. Lin has found some beautiful women in the emojis. I put it there. They're a part of my members only emojis. I put things that I'm passionate about there. Okay, we got more live updates on the Ukrainian-Russian conflict right now, you guys. This just in. Waking up to the news, many Russians said they felt absolutely shocked and bewildered by Mr. Putin's decision to attack Ukraine. Anton Dolan, the country's leading film critic, says that the war with Ukraine is the most horrible and shameful event of my life. Also coming in, Russian-backed separatists say they are attacking the Ukraine army along with the entire front line of the country's east, using all weapons at their disposal. Russian media report the separatists say they have begun an operation to capture the entire Ukrainian legions, Luhansk and Donetsk. So, guys, this is major. What we are seeing now coming through, live breaking news right here, guys, that we are seeing coming through right now is the magnitude of this apparent raid and attack from the Russian military on Ukraine is even superseding in size, scope, and scale than most people anticipated, including me. We are seeing right now confirmation that Russian-backed separatists are seizing and using all weapons at their disposal to seize major regions and territories in the Ukraine right now. This is just wild stuff. Also just coming in right now, the Foreign Ministry of Taiwan condemns Russia's attack on Ukraine, calling it a violation of the UN Charter, self-governed island claim by Beijing. So what we also know is that the UN has obviously completely denounced this attack, and the UN saying that they are going to unleash a series of sanctions to the likes that have never been seen before on Russia, and the United States is going to put their own separate list of severe sanctions on Russia as well. How much will this affect or slow down or impact Putin and his desire for conflict in that region remains to be seen, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out. Right now, okay, so the results of the poll, we got about 50 votes in. Are you holding all of your crypto? An overwhelming 92% of you said yes. Only 6% of you saying no, and only 2% of you saying some yes and some no. So overwhelming, decisive answer there for the overall climate in this community anyway, as to who's holding all their crypto. Over 90% of you are reporting yes, you're holding pretty much your whole portfolio. Alan Schneider, Ukraine is basically the bread basket of Europe. Yeah, you know, this is very sad. It's a beautiful country with a beautiful culture, and I mean, one of my first instincts is that I believe that most any country has the right to sovereignty, has the right to protect its borders, has the right to protect its people and its culture, you know, including us. RW says, Red Dawn, pay no attention to those paratroopers outside of your living room window. This is true. Yeah, I don't mean to laugh, but I think I'm laughing because I think that is a pretty interesting and apt analogy. Red Dawn, of course, was originally, fun little fact here. Red Dawn was the first PG-13 movie ever created. So it was the first movie that had a PG-13 rating due to excessive violence. And of course, it got remade some years later. And I saw the remake too. It was pretty decent, but nowhere near as good as the original. Christopher says the fact that they are telling us before they do it makes me question everything I know about conflict and surprise attacks. I think your instincts are leading you in the right direction, Christopher James. Stay on. I love you, Steven. Love you back, man. Thank you. Scotty says we could have done something about this. Now, I have to look more into this, but they're... and she's taken a lot of heat for it, right? She's taken a lot of heat for it. But let me pull up a tweet that she issued just a short time ago. And that was... former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. She said, direct quote from her, she's getting a lot of attention, a lot of intense feelings about the statement. She says this war and suffering could have easily been avoided if the Biden administration and NATO had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns regarding Ukraine's becoming a member of NATO, which would mean U.S. NATO forces right on Russia's border. I'm not an expert. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I guess my first thought upon reading that, I quite like Tulsi personally, but my first impressions of a statement like that is I agree with it to a degree, but I don't, like, I agree with the first part of it, I really do, but I'm not sure that that would warrant the level of conflict that we are seeing right now, right? And I'm not sure if she meant that or if we're going to get further clarification from her, but that was interesting. Cars are stopping at red lights. Buses are running weird. I'll allow a few people to a apocalypse. Is anybody here a doomsday prepper? Be honest. Do we have any real doomsday preppers here? And if so, message me your number because I want to spot in your shelter. Let's see here. Just in Lviv, there are air raid sirens wailing. Japan hesitant to impose sanctions on Russia in 2014 now embraces them over one reason, China, which makes sense. So there you have it now. Japan acting swiftly to impose sanctions on Russia. It looks like Russia's going to have a pretty hard time finding allies in this expedition from the way things are shaping up. And right now, let's take a look at what the markets are doing right now in terms of cryptocurrency. Right now, Dogecoin down about 2% more over the last hour, trading just a little bit above 11 cents. Bitcoin right now, guys, is trading just a little bit below or right even at 35,000. Ethereum right now, just a little bit above 2,300. AVAX really dropped, trading at about $67. That puts AVAX down about 13% for the day. SHIB is trading at a bunch of zeros and 2199, down about 12% for the day. And Luna Terra is the one that's holding up the best out of every cryptocurrency in the top 20, trading pretty strongly at $55, down just 2.4% over the last 24 hours. Let's see here. I think another update just came in, guys. Oh, I lost it. Just hang on with me a second, folks. Okay, new update coming in. Russian attack was consistent with U.S. intelligence forecasts, U.S. senators say. In a series of tweets, Senator Marco Rubio, the top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee, said that Russia was launching a full-scale and comprehensive military assault throughout the Ukraine. So yeah, I double-checked on this, and it does appear that Senator Marco Rubio was the first person to announce and kind of get out ahead on what has been transpiring right now. So his data collection and his reports of that data have turned out to be, very accurate. Rubio added that Russian airborne forces are also working to take control of the airport so they can fly forces to occupy the capital city. Oh man, Russia's going all in, guys. It looks like they're trying to take over the entire country in pretty short order. I mean, it's just wild stuff. I'm looking up some other sources right now. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, I'm not a geopolitical expert. In fact, my opinion on this whole conflict is still evolving. It's still forming. I know overall where my instincts are with stuff, but as far as the nuances go, it's still forming. I don't have a fully formed opinion on this conflict yet. Other than I'm largely anti-war, I can tell you that. Let's see what's going on here. no other further updates at this time, you guys, other than the market just really, really struggling. Frankly, I'm not even looking at the values of my portfolios right now. I just really don't see the point unless you're not planning on holding and you want to panic sell for whatever various reasons you have going on in your life. Then, of course, you want to keep a closer eye on them. But this is all part of the journey. In terms for me, this comes as a surprise, but not at the same time. And I've always talked about on the show that we could also always be in for incredible dips, but overall, you just want to zoom out and look at the general trajectory of your investments over the course of 6 months or longer at the very least. Scotty says, the Steele testosterone is on another level. Oh, yeah. Thank you. What happens if sanctions do not work? Shidoshi said. I mean, a good question there. A good question. Who knows? I mean, perhaps further conflict, and that's why people are throwing around the term WW3, you know? But I would say that's still a much more unlikely scenario. And much too early to speculate on something like that. Diamond Freddy says, I'm buying. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for buying. I mean, we've got Doge at around 11 cents right now. Incredible deals to be had. Particularly if you're a long-term holder. Like I've discussed many times here, the overwhelming majority of millionaires and multimillionaires consequential to cryptocurrency have gotten that way through very long-term investments. Not investments over a year, not investments over 2 years, but investments over several year span. So that's several year span time. Almost every crypto millionaire you run into has a tale, has a narrative of they bought a bunch of Ethereum and 6 years ago. They bought a bunch of Bitcoin 8 years ago. They bought a bunch of Dogecoin 8 years ago. I don't mean to be ignoring anyone. I try to interact with you guys as much as I can. Scott says, I'm not a rich man, but I have accumulated 3.4K and I'm waiting for a buy opportunity, mostly looking for getting exposure into the energy industry. Yeah, of course, that would be something very sensible to examine at this time, for sure. I mean, if no bid contractors are going to be profiting off of this junk, why shouldn't the everyday person? That's how I feel about it. Esteban asked, how is Steven Steele's beard? So nice, so nice. A few natural products, and just keep it trimmed every few days. Kenny, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you in the mix, Kenny. And also shout out to my my nephew, the other Kenny, that was in here earlier. He's probably passed out by now. All right. Alan says, search out independent media sources. It'll be your best chance to find the truth. I no lie detected there. Yeah, no new updates. I'm looking at all my live update pages. 2 out of 3 of them are offering no new updates yet. Let me look up the third one. Yeah, we do have a new update now on my third one. And Remy wants to hear all about it, don't you, Remy? Okay. Remy. It's okay. Remy, you gotta let me do my show, sweetheart. Okay. She's getting real feisty. She's getting jealous. Remy! Oh my gosh. Here we got Rem acting up. Okay, so the new update that's coming in is Kiev has woken up to a new reality. The first bangs came just after 5 a.m. on Thursday morning. Hey! Calm down. Lie down. Good girl. Calm. Okay. Just minutes before, Putin announced that he was ordering military operation in Ukraine. Now residents of Kiev could hear the consequences firsthand. Explosions coming from some distances away in the city center, but clearly audible across the Ukrainian capital. Deep inside, nose piercing through quiet early mornings. Kiev residents have been told to stay at home and pack a bag with necessities in case they need to leave abruptly. Across the city, red arrows painted on walls indicate the locations of the nearest bomb shelters. The first city to put them up after the war broke up in the eastern portion of the country in 2014, but they were recently repainted again, so they are unmissable. Wow, imagine living in a major territory like that in the Ukraine and all of a sudden hearing sirens and bombs go off at 5 in the morning. Most of us are asleep at that time. Imagine waking up to that sort of thing. My heart really goes out to those people. Another breaking news coming into the conflict, you guys. Ukraine armed forces say 5 Russian aircrafts and helicopters are shot down. So there's a small, minor win for the Ukrainian military. General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces has claimed 5 Russian aircraft and a helicopter were shot down just moments ago. The Russian military has denied the claims. State agency, of course, they're going to deny the claims. But there we have it, folks. There we have it. Yeah, Remy is hyped for sure. Remy is reading the updates, 7-1. Yes. Remy reading the updates and getting really fired up. Folks, if you're brand new here, you're watching Steven Steele Live. I'm, of course, Steven Steele. It's great to have you with us. I do a lot of live streaming, mostly crypto-centric stuff. It's kind of just an overall talk show. It's great to have you here with us, so feel free to hit subscribe, hit all on that notification bell, and join our community. Everyone here in this community is super awesome, and so don't be shy. Kenny, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate all you do, brother, and that sick-ass beard. I'm jealous. I can't connect mine. Yeah, yeah. I've heard people have trouble connecting theirs. I don't know. I guess I'm blessed with the connecting beard. What products do you use on your beard, Steven? There's only one product that I use, and it's called Grizzly Mountain. I use Grizzly Mountain because there's no chemicals and it's all natural, and it kind of makes a paste, but the paste kind of smells like a strong green tea, and you put it on there, and then that's all I do. Once in a while, if it gets really dried out, I'll put a little bit of coconut oil in it. That's about it. Yo-Yo, why is America involved in the Ukraine? I mean, good question. I mean, it makes me wonder if we're going to go back to the era of being the world police, you know? And it just, all I got to say, guys, is be very, very skeptical with what the mainstream media tells you about what's going on and why when it comes to issues of massive conflict, whether it's involving us or other nations. Something to keep in mind is many of these mainstream media sources, when you look at who pays for a lot of the commercial spots, a lot of times it's Boeing, it's Halliburton, it's Koch Industries, it's pharmaceutical industries. So it's really not that far of a leap when you think about, well, there's a pretty good likelihood that whatever this news station reports, it's going to be at the very least kind and not very hard on compromising the industries of its advertisers. Okay, so just leave it at that. Scotty says no one can know the fear of bombs being dropped until it's happening to you. That exactly. It's so easy to be disconnected from the realities of war. It's really easy to do, but when you're in the SH, you know what? It's a whole different ball game. And I think if people really became empathetic enough to really put themselves there and what that feels like, if it were them, if we had more leaders that did operate in that fashion, I think the world would be a better place. America can make, maybe Emperor Doge, maybe Right now, let's take a look at the market. Right now, we are seeing a little bit of more movement in the market. Things going down even a smidge more. Dogecoin just hanging on a little bit over 11 cents. Bitcoin dropping at about 34,850. Ethereum just a little bit above 2,300 there. Let's see where XRP is at. XRP trading at 63 cents, down a whopping 12%. So yeah, anything between like 7 and 12% seems to be the average for top 50 cryptos today. Yep. Anyway, guys, it's about 12:30 in my neck of the woods here. Let me refresh and see what's going on, if there's any new live updates here. Ukrainian foreign minister just released a statement. Ukraine will defend itself. Ukraine will win. In a tweet Thursday morning, Ukrainian's foreign minister Dmytro appealed to Ukrainians around the world to speak up and urge action from their leaders. Putin attacked, but no one is running away, he wrote. Army, diplomats, everyone is working. Ukraine fights. Ukraine will defend itself. Ukraine will win. Very defiant, spirited statement from him. So that just came through on the Twitter sphere. Anyone know if Elon has had anything to say about recent events here? Why don't I check out his Twitter and see? So far, no statement from Elon Musk about this. The last tweet he issued was about 11 hours ago, and it was a very strong, defiant statement to the SEC. And he said in relation to the SEC, Elon Musk said, "I didn't start the fight, but I will finish it. I will finish it." So there's a very spirited Elon. 69 likes. Love to see it. Our favorite number here, right, guys? 7-1 asking, I wonder when the market will do when the second coming happens. Peachtree, good to see you in the mix. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wind this one down. I've been going for about 80 minutes, almost an hour and a half. I might come on for a special stream tomorrow, depending on what the market is doing. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you got something out of it. I will sum up with this, guys. I do think the market probably is going to drop even lower. It's just a matter of how long and when. I think this is a pretty good possibility that this could happen for the first part of the day tomorrow once the market opens. I will be keeping a very close eye on the markets starting bright and early in the morning when those markets do open for my own positioning. So I think that tomorrow morning could be one of the most, if not the most advantageous window to buy. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you guys my reasoning there. So yeah. Anyway, my throat's getting a little dry. I gotta give it a break. Anyway, if you don't already follow me on Twitter, guys, feel free to get at me over there. It's Mr. Steven Steele, Mr. Steven Steele. That is the only one. All the other ones are imposters. So the only real deal Steven Steele account on Twitter is Mr. Steven Steele. So look me up there. I love seeing and connect with you guys there. If you don't already follow me there, follow me there. I'm very active there, and DMs are open if you got any questions. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele. Sign out. Take care.
Front door open, music still playing in one room down the hall. Towels on the floor, and then it's quiet. Just the bees and birds, the summer haze.